There are many benefits to social media, such as staying connected with friends, sharing creative work, learning new information, and staying educated. However, there are valid concerns about social media and how it affects teenagers, especially with their mental health, self-esteem, and overall well-being. Together, we researched how social media may not be good for teenagers. Social media refers to the evolution of online platforms from the early 2000s, such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. These platforms allowed users to connect, share information, and interact with each other on a larger scale. This was a significant change from earlier communities like chat rooms. As we discovered from research, the teenage mind is more likely to suffer from the darker side of social media. This can happen because social media can create an environment where cyberbullying is normalized, and it can create unrealistic expectations which can affect a teenager's self-esteem. There can also be an overusage of social media which can restrict a teenager's mind in many ways. Today you will see how social media can damage and distort the still developing mind. Let's begin by defining the problem.
The use of modern social media for still developing minds is a serious issue for teens today for two major reasons. The overuse of social media causes isolation and reduced face-to-face interaction. Because of this, we as a society have redefined what a social connection is. Social media has instead provided a sense of virtual connection. This replacement of real life and face-to-face interactions go hand in hand with the feelings of isolation and loneliness that teens experience today. A study by Breanna of 2017 concluded that the higher social media usage in teens, the increased feelings of loneliness and social isolation that was found in young people, such as adolescents and teens. The more time on social media, the more that they would withdraw from their real life interactions. Things like extracurricular hobbies and hanging out with friends were minimized because they had this sense of social connection online. Another study from Twinge in 2017 showed that teens that have 2 hours a day of social media usage have gotten way more increased feelings of loneliness and isolation. While these teens have isolated themselves and had a sense of relations online, they have done things like compared themselves to what they see. And what we have seen on social media is the idea of what is perfect. Users try to create a sense of perfection in their life through success, through fitness, through beauty, and happiness. One major example of this is the social media app Instagram. The app heavily relies on filtered photos and Photoshop depictions of influencers, leading teens to internalize these ideas. The impact on their self-esteem of consistent comparison to others have negatively impacted body image in young girls, with less of a sense of worth and more of an increase of anxiety, depression, and eating disorders. A study by Whirley in 2015 found that exposure to perfect images on social media correlated with body dissatisfaction found in girls and adolescents. Also, because we have this sense of a virtual world and lack of face-to-face reality, cyberbullying has taken on a life of its own. It created a sense of an area to bully others for 24/7. A study by Kowalski and Limber in 2013 found that cyberbullying was linked to psychological distress and suicide ideas among victims. And that's what this chart right here tells us. This table shows that cyberbullying causes the suicide ideas and psychological distress versus traditional bullying. This shows that cyberbullying is more harmful and dangerous than traditional bullying. Cyberbullying is easier to participate in and causes more people to be affected, in which it contributes to the dangers of social media. How do we solve this? Well, a solution is easy. Parents need to create healthy boundaries with their teenagers on the overuse of social media. Overall, educating teens on healthy ways to use social media, the dangers of social media, the permanence of social media, and giving them consequences when engaging in cyberbullying would help decrease the negative aspects of social media within teens.
Managing the impact. The roles of parents and guardians. The importance of parental involvement in managing social media use, including setting limits on screen time, monitoring online activities, and fostering open communication about the dangers of social media. For example, studies suggest that teens whose parents are actively involved in their social media use are less likely to experience negative outcomes like cyberbullying, cited Hinduja and Patchen. Schools and community organizations can implement programs to educate teens about the risks of cyberbullying, social comparison, and overuse of social media, while promoting healthy online habits. Providing teens with access to counseling and support for dealing with the emotional and psychological effects of social media use, as well as fostering resilience and healthy coping mechanisms. These are some of the possible alternatives to getting support to avoid these issues. To conclude, social media presents a range of negative effects for teens, especially when it comes to issues like cyberbullying, social comparison, and social isolation. These factors can significantly impact their mental health, self-esteem, and social development. It is essential for parents, educators, and mental health professionals to work together to minimize the negative impact of social media on teens by promoting healthy usage patterns, providing education, and offering support for those affected. While social media can have positive aspects, its overuse or misuse by teens can have serious consequences. Addressing these issues early and proactively can help mitigate the risks and promote healthier social media habits.